Like, I can't wake up tomorrow and say I want to be a Desi bride, because they know that their culture is in the costume. Let's start gatekeeping.
Is it that we just don't care anymore?
Why do you feel that your cultural attire is not good enough for your weddings or for your party?
I never thought in this day I would be addressing Kenyans on this issue. I saw the Congolese do it. I saw the Congolese dressing in Nigerian attire. I saw the Liberians do it. I didn't think that the madness would travel to the east.
You know damn well it's Nigerian people. That shit is so fucking annoying.
Hello wonderful people, welcome back to the channel. It's me again, Evelyn Mduka, and today we're going to be talking about other African country wearing Nigerian traditional clothes on their traditional day in their country. That means people who are not Nigeria are gradually using Nigerian attire as their clothes, and they are not marrying a Nigerian man or Nigerian woman. They casually wearing Nigerian clothes as their traditional attire. What happened to their traditional wears? Why are they wearing Nigerian clothes? So this has got a lot of Nigerians speaking out and questioning these people. Why are they wearing Nigerian clothes? Not just Nigerians are questioning them, even their own people, like people from Kenya, Liberia, Tanzania, especially Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. I've seen a lot of them. It's as if East African people don't like wearing their clothes because they are the people who are always doing this. Anyway, let's listen to what these people have to say. Do you agree? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let's listen.
The only way you can have a Nigerian wedding is either if you're one Nigerian or you're marrying a Nigerian. Anything else could possible. Like, I can't wake up tomorrow and say I want to be a Desi bride, because they know that their culture is in the costume. Let's start gatekeeping.
Is it that we just don't care anymore? Like, because as beautiful as she is, that's an Igbo bride. Like, my mind I can't understand why. Like, why would you do that? Because I know, like, Sudanese culture and Congolese, like, has beautiful attire, so it's cosplay.
These girls are getting cooked on Twitter right now, and rightfully so, because not that you could tell by how they're dressed, but they're not even a little bit Nigerian. They are from Guinea. And what I don't like about this is the fact that Nigerians, particularly Yoruba people, get a lot of stick for being very boastful and proud and loud about their culture. And, you know, maybe to an extent I can see where people are coming from sometimes, especially Yorubas. You know, we can be quite loud. But when you behave like this, what do you expect? Because people from Guinea and that part of West Africa have beautiful native attire. So why aren't you wearing your own? I don't get it. And who knows, Sha, maybe they'll come out and give us an explanation as to what they were thinking. But guys, come on. Because don't go and do this and then get annoyed when Nigerians come online to say, oh, Nigeria is the giant of Africa. Because what's this?
Okay, so I'm just going to give my opinion about this whole topic of other African countries wearing Nigerian cultural attire for their weddings or their parties. I just have a couple questions. I think the number one question that I have is the fact that why do you feel that your cultural attire is not good enough for your weddings or for your parties? I think that's the foundational problem. It's one thing to appreciate Nigeria's culture. You like their movies, you like their food, you like their attires. But for one of the most important days in your life, and it's called a traditional marriage. A traditional marriage ceremony, that means you're supposed to display your tradition. You're supposed to display your cultural attire, everything. And so for you to completely erase that from your wedding and then take on another country's attire, I just feel like that's somehow, I just feel like that's wrong. And I feel that deep down you feel that the Nigerian attire is better than yours, which is wrong, because I feel like the Nigerian cultural attire has evolved over the years, and the reason why it's evolved because we were so proud about it, and we kept looking at different ways to make it even more flamboyant, even more fab, and all of that. And I feel like other African countries also need to embrace that, right? another person's traditional attire is not your costume. It's not a costume. It's not a costume marriage. It's a traditional marriage. And so what we wear has a significance, has a cultural history, has a cultural foundation. For example, I'm Igbo. I'm proudly Igbo. And then what the men wear is Ishagu, and the women can wear it too. And we also wear George and all of that. I saw like a whole another African country, and they were wearing Ishagu, and that's just so wrong. And you may say it doesn't matter. It does matter, because what is happening is that you slowly and surely you are eradicating your own culture. And so the next generation of people coming up in your country slowly will not even know what your attire is, because you're refusing to embrace it. You have to embrace it. I love to travel. I appreciate different cultures. And so when I come across a wedding, I want to see your cultural attire. I want to be in awe of it. And so when I see all the African countries and I'm like, this looks like it's a Yoruba wedding, but clearly these people are not Yoruba. It's just somehow. And for those in the comments that may be like, oh, it doesn't matter, it does matter, because your tradition, your culture is beautiful. Embrace your culture, embrace the authenticity of your culture, wear your attire. All these things are important in preserving our African as a whole, our culture, our cultural heritage. So that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think?
We need to start gatekeeping again. Okay, this is controversial, and you guys just stay with me here. I feel like we need to start gatekeeping because there are a lot of people who are having access to environments and information and are essentially cosplaying whatever that information gave them access to. I saw a video on here about how there's women now going to these formal black tie events with Birkin bags and Kellys, and not just like the small Birkins or Kellys, but we're talking about like the 35 and 40 big bags. And essentially it's strange because obviously they purchase those items to give a status of wealth. And it's just like other things too that we need to gatekeep. Like if you're Nigerian, we need to start gatekeeping being, our Nigerian weddings and all the things that come with it, because it was like they were talking about how there was like a Ghanaian or Sierra Leonean bride who decided to wear the whole Edo regalia. Like what? No, we don't just get to cosplay another culture because we're getting married and we admire that culture. Like you can admire it. I just feel like there's so many other things too that we need to start gatekeeping a little bit, like just gatekeeping to secrets, trade secrets, because sometimes you will give access to this information and somebody doesn't have the experience or the credibility to play that thing out. And it always is very telling when they're in those environments and maybe they just heard fragments of information online, or they had a friend who told them about that whatever thing. It just comes off super disingenuous. So anyway, my thing is I feel like we need to just like start working, being okay with going through processes in life, because I feel like who you become when you go through the process is the kind of person that can attain whatever access you get, versus just being somebody who attains or desires something and tries to put on that identity of that thing when you don't even really know yourself. So I think gatekeeping is actually going to protect us more than it can harm us.
This is getting out of hand. Calling all Kenyans, calling all Congolese, calling all Africans, I beg you, please. If you are not getting married to a Nigerian and you're not a Nigerian yourself, stop dressing in cultural attire for your wedding ceremony that you are not a part of. You are not a part of. I never thought in this day I would be addressing Kenyans on this issue. I saw the Congolese do it. I saw the Congolese dressing in Nigerian attire. I saw the Liberians do it. I didn't think that the madness would travel to the east, but it has reached Kenya. What you saw was a traditional Nyombo ceremony. And a Nyombo ceremony in my tribe, that is basically the traditional wedding. What you did not see was a Nigerian bride or Nigerian groom. What you did see is 2 Kenyans dressing in Nigerian attire for a wedding. It's so cringe. I don't think anybody has any place dressing in another culture's attire when you're doing your culture's traditional wedding. For example, I'm Luo, by the grace of God, and I have no business dressing like a Congolese, Nigerian, South African at my traditional wedding unless I'm being married to a man from those cultures. It's bad manners. Please, we need to act, I beg you, act like you come from a culture. You are not a cultural orphan. This is just in general. I know that we're in an era of sharing is caring. I don't know how much of that I believe, but I do know that if you have a culture of your own, act like it. It is not bad to appreciate other people's cultures in certain contexts, but I'm talking specifically in this case for weddings. Act like you have a culture of your own. You are not a cultural orphan. Please. Please, because when people start insulting you and saying you don't have a culture, what will you say? Because when you're here picking and mixing and doing all this type of stuff, it looks like you don't know where you come from. If you know where you come from and you know the culture, just stick to that. Please. It is getting embarrassing. It is getting out of hand. Do not give room for people to insult you. Because when it's justified, who can come to your defense? It is not bad to admire or respect or wear, traditional clothing in appropriate context from other cultures. For example, if you're marrying into a certain culture. But please, don't do this. I've been seeing this on the internet and now the Kenyans are doing it.
No, ma'am. Okay? No. This is not Liberian traditional clothing. That beads you are wearing is for Nigeria. Seriously, I'm sick of y'all Liberian women. A lot of y'all motherfuckers come on this damn app or y'all do your traditional clothing inspired by the people, and that's fine. But to take the people clothes and claim it's Liberian traditional, culture, when you know damn well it's Nigerian people, that shit is so fucking annoying. Okay?
All right, so I had made a post on Threads, and I basically said that Nigerians needed to gatekeep the culture and that there's no reason why people outside of Nigeria would want a Nigerian-themed wedding. So while I thought that post would be met with a lot more, common sense, the sense is not sensing. It was met with a lot of people, even some Nigerians, saying that we shouldn't care if other people want to embrace our culture. It was Americans saying that they can wear Nigerian traditional attire because they have ties to Nigeria. And I just think that that's wild as hell. And let me say why I think it's wild. I am an Ibibio woman through and through, okay? And even despite the fact that we have very close ties to Efik people, I cannot wear Efik regalia. I also cannot show up to my own wedding wearing ashoke, despite the fact that I'm a Nigerian, because ashoke is specifically for Yoruba women. And I am not a Yoruba woman, neither am I marrying a Yoruba man. The most I can personally wear is isiagu, and that's only because my husband is Igbo. And the only other cultural attire I should be wearing is Ibibio attire, point blank period. So I really feel like everybody needs to learn to wear their culture's attire. Stop trying to wear the attire from people from other different cultures. It doesn't make any sense. And this is one of those things that shouldn't even be up for discussion. Because if we are normalizing this amongst ourselves as Nigerians, then that's why you're going to see people in Tanzania wearing agbada when that's not even their cultural attire. It is time to gatekeep.